Hi, welcome to another video. Hope you're all keeping well. Now, for this video, I'm going to review a British horror movie that I watched just last night. It's from 2022, and that movie is called Mary Had a Little Lamb. Now, as per usual, before I say anything further about the movie and give me thoughts on the story as a whole, I'll just read you the blurb at the back just to give you some idea if you haven't seen it. A radio host and her crew set out to discover the truth behind some disappearances for a true crime radio show. They will soon learn that there is far more to discover when they meet Mary and her lamb, who will make us out alive of this house of horrors. So there you go, guys. That's the blurb for the 2022 British horror movie, Mary Had a Little Lamb. There's a couple of stills, guys, from the movie. Okay, on to my thoughts now on the movie as a whole. Yeah, it was a decent watch. Yeah, it wasn't a great movie, but a very enjoyable little slasher movie. Yeah, that's the monstrous killer of the title, the Lamb, who's the son of this rather eccentric old lady who lives in the woods, like, miles away from anywhere. Okay, guys, I'll just talk a little bit more about the story and give me thoughts on it as a whole. So you've got this group of young people who work on the radio station, and they're into investigating all these cold cases, especially from years ago, unsolved crimes and that. And they do like a kind of a podcast and that, and you've got the main girl, like, who's in charge of the group, she's sort of like, she's summoned into after doing the show one day, she's summoned into the office by the boss, and he's not a very happy man at all, because he wants the show to become more modern. He wants his staff to start covering more modern cold cases, more modern, instead of all rehashing old crimes that happened years ago and that, because he said, like, if we don't start sort of like modernising our program, the ratings are going to go down, and I'm going to have to terminate the program. Well, of course, the girl, she's not too pleased about that, So if you can get something like within 7 days, like a modern scoop on a modern sort of like mystery, a modern crime mystery, just might save the station, and it'll bring the advertising revenue in. So the girl assures them that she'll do her best, to save the program, because she loves doing it and that, save her team and that, she assures her boss that she will try, and by hook or by crook, she will try and find a modern day crime mystery. She can sort of like do like a whole program on that, shortly after that, she's watching the television, and she sees this news item come up about all these people disappearing in this certain part of the woods in Britain, mysterious disappearances and that, and the photographs splash up of the people that's disappeared. So that sparks the idea in her mind to go out there with a team and investigate all these mysterious disappearances in this, woodland and that. So that's what she does. She goes out there with a camera and equipment and that, takes all her buddies and that, and out they go to investigate these strange disappearances. So as they wander deeper and deeper into the woods, it soon becomes apparent that they've lost their way, basically. So then, just about thinking about, retracing their steps, leaving it and going back, they come upon this house in the middle of nowhere, and like, this quaint little house, So they go to investigate it. They go inside. Nobody's there at the moment. Then all of a sudden, this little rather eccentric old lady appears. She's got a very witch-like face and that, and there's something really off about. You can sense right away there's something really off about her. So she's very hospitable at first and that, she welcomes them and that to a house and that, and she invites them to stay the night and that, well, when they're all talking around a dinner table in the evening, one of the girls wants to go upstairs to use the loo, and the little old lady, like, she looks at her, like, gives her a hard look, and she says, be careful, my son's upstairs, and he's a very, very light sleeper. That's her son. The lamb of, I said before, the lamb of the story. It's kind of a mutant. Like, she had him, like, she sort of like, she got raped years ago and that, and the rape spawned this monstrous, don't really know too much about the circumstances, but apparently it spawned this monstrous being with a lamb's head, and he's got like his lethal sort of like his axe and that, to sort of like, well, dispose, as is the norm in these kind of horror movies, to dispose of his victims. So that's basically it, guys. They end up being terrorised by both the mother, the eccentric old lady, and the son, the lamb of the title. So this is what they're doing now, guys, with a lot of these old fairy tales and nursery rhymes. They're making horror movies out of them. Now, I don't know whether that's a good thing, but in this particular case, I did like this one. I thought it was a good watch, and I'm going to be keeping it in my collection. Yet, Mary Had a Little Lamb. It's not a great movie by any stretch of the imagination, but if you like these kind of like British slasher movies, not to be taken too seriously, you might get some enjoyment out of Mary Had a Little Lamb. You're very, very terrifying, a killer, with the lamb's head. I thought it was a mask at first, but it seems like he's a mutated. He's born that way, but they don't go into detail really about how that happened. Yeah. I'm just going to read you some notes about it, guys. The movie, yeah. So this is from Dark Abyss Films, and it stars May Kelly, Christine Ann Nyland, and Gaston Alexandre. Produced by Scott Jeffrey and Riz Frake Waterfield, written by Harry Boxley, and directed by Jason Arber. And it runs to 82 minutes in length. And there you go, guys. Again, it's stills from the movie. It's quite. There's one or two quite bloody kills in this, guys. So at times, like, you just feel like looking away from the telly and that, and he goes to work with his what's the name there? His lethal weapon. Quite gory kills, and that doesn't show any mercy at all. Well, I won't give away too much of the story in case you haven't seen it yet. But I enjoyed Mary Had a Little Lamb. As I say, it's not a great movie by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a watchable good little slasher thriller, and I'll be adding this to my British indie horror movie collection. I've got quite a few of these British indie horror movies on DVD, the likes of Humpty Dumpty, Jack in the Box and that, Roberts, movies like that. I just love them. I think the British do a better job as well, guys, of these kind of horror movies, right? The trouble with the American ones, they put too many annoying teenagers in and that, but the British, when they do a horror movie, they do a real good job of it, and I am pleased with this one, Mary Had a Little Lamb. On the model, she's a right oddball. She really is, she's a really, you don't know she's been in a bloody lunatic asylum, like, the way she carries on, she goes off on head and that, for the least little thing, but she sort of like conveys this outward, as I say, like this outward appearance of being, an inoffensive, harmless little old lady who just a little bit eccentric, who lives in the woods and that, miles from nowhere, with a rather more than eccentric son, rather horrifying son, to put it bluntly, and that, but the way he chases them and that, with his axe and that, and his sledgehammer and that, really, really brutal watch at times, guys. So I enjoyed Mary Had a Little Lamb. I like the country setting. I always like my horror movies set in the country, houses miles from nowhere and that, and good performance by the cast and that, and you'd always get one in these kind of scenarios, don't you? Like when you go to sort of like a dodgy house or a dodgy castle, you always get a nervous one, and there's one girl in this, she's a little bit nervous and that, and she doesn't want to stay, but of course her mates want to stay there and that, they want to stay the night, reminded me of Barbara Shelley in Dracula Prince of Darkness, when she was very nervy and that about staying in Dracula's castle. Well, we all know what happened there, don't we? Her hunches proved right. It's the same in this, guys. This girl's very, very nervy. She just wants to get away. She's getting bad vibes about the woman and that, very creepy she is. Oh, I should mention, guys, that this movie does start off with quite a bang, involving the eccentric nutty old lady and her son. I won't tell you what happens at the beginning. I don't want to spoil it for you, but that opens it, and then it moves down to the story of the radio team, investigating all these cold cases and that, so the story follows on. It follows their sort of like how they fare in the movie, basically. But it does start with a bang, guys, with this, this nutty, she's absolute fruitcake, she is. His mother, but I really enjoyed Mary Had a Little Lamb. It's not a great movie, but it's a decent enough watch, Okay then, guys, on to a rating now for Mary Had a Little Lamb. I think I'll give it 7 out of 10. As I say, it wasn't great, but it was very, very watchable. And if you like these sorts of British indie horror movies, and that, with a bit of blood and gore, I think you'll enjoy Mary Had a Little Lamb. Okay, guys, that concludes my review of the 2022 British slasher movie, Mary Had a Little Lamb. Have you seen Mary Had a Little Lamb? What did you think of it? Do you agree with me? It was like an average kind of slasher movie, not great, but very, very watchable. Leave a comments down below. I'd be very interested, to hear, what you thought of it. I just love that cover, guys. And the thing at the top, it's fleece. Mary Had a Little Lamb. Its fleece was red as blood. Wouldn't say it like to me. Sim on a dark night. Okay, guys, that's it. Usually, if you like the video, please remember to share, subscribe, comments, and all going well. I'll talk to you all again very, very soon. Bye for now.